Hello. We're going to learn how to complete the remote learning lab comparing agricultural lands. If this is the first time that you've completed one of these, there's a few things that you need to keep in mind. First of all, you should open the document in your Google Drive folder that looks like this. The title will say 1-point remote learning lab comparing agricultural lands. It will also have your name on it. That is a document that was created just for you so that you can complete the assignment online and then just notify the geography teachers that you've done it. So these instructions walk you through exactly how to do this. But if you want to follow along with this video, I'm going to show you how to do all the things that you need to do in order to complete the assignment, and then you'll answer the questions at the end, and then you'll follow these instructions. Something else that you need to keep in mind is anywhere where you see red text, like here, here, down here, that is something that you need to respond to. So that is a signal that I need to answer a question, I need to fill in this chart. This is where you earn your points. After you're done and you've answered the questions and filled in the charts, as it says here in the beginning, make sure that you change the font color or highlight your answers. That just makes it a lot easier for us to grade these when they're all done. So let's go ahead and get started and see how this works. Quick overview of what we're doing. We're comparing the size and shape of wheat fields in both India and the United States. Both India and the US are large producers of wheat, and so to try to maybe get a better understanding of what agriculture is like in each place, we're going to examine what the farms look like using remote imagery from satellites. So these instructions start right here with step 1. First thing it says to do is open up this map on ArcGIS. This map does not require you to log in, so you don't need to remember your credentials, although you could log in and use them. And the first thing we want to notice here as we zoom out a little bit to more of a world view is we have all the states of the United States highlighted and labeled here. And if we zoom in on the US, a little too far there, zoom in on the US, you can see the names of all the states. And we zoom back out and go over to India, we have the same. So you don't need to try to locate any of the places in India or the United States that you're asked to look at. They're all just labeled right here. And you can see, everything right here. So let's go ahead and go back to the instructions. First thing it says is go to India and zoom in on the state of Uttar Pradesh. So if we go back here, we can see that Uttar Pradesh is right here. We'll drag it to the center, zoom in a little. Then the next part of the instruction says, keep on zooming in. Uttar Pradesh is one of these large wheat producing regions in India, rich agricultural lands, plenty of floodwaters from the Himalaya, and we can zoom in almost anywhere in the state and find fields that are probably growing some wheat from time to time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to zoom in, keep going, and now we're starting to see little villages with fields surrounding them. And this is what we want to see. I mean, we don't know that these are wheat fields for sure, but because this state in India produces so much wheat, we know that at least from time to time, some of these are going to be wheat fields. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at them and we're going to measure the size of them in square meters, and we're just going to generally look at the shape of them. Now, for the shape part, you might want to wait until you've sampled wheat fields in both the United States and India before you can kind of make a comparison. But basically, if you look at this area here, this is a field. So some farmer is producing something here. And so we want to start by measuring the size of this field. And the way we do it is we use this measure tool right here. Some of you may have done this already. Some of you, this is new, but it's not very difficult. We want to find the area of a field. So by default, it sets it on area. So we're going to leave it like that. And we want to change square miles to square meters because we want to use the common international standard, and meters really because we're going to see some of these fields are pretty small. And if we use something bigger than meters, like square kilometers or square miles or even hectares, we're going to find very, very low numbers. So make sure you make sure area is selected and square meters is selected. Then just kind of estimate the corners of the field. I'm going to say that this is probably the corner of the field, and I'm going to drag over to here. That's another corner. Those trees are probably obscuring a little bit of the edge, so I'm going to make it straight. And then I'm going to go here, and then kind of looks like the field sort of goes like this. You know, your guess is as good as mine. You guys have eyes, so you can figure it out. And so I think the area is about like that. That's a good rough estimate. And what this says is this field is 3,293.1 square meters. That is more than enough accuracy. In fact, you can round off to the nearest whole number. You do not need to include the decimal. Well, what are we going to do with this? Well, what I would suggest you do is either on paper or on Google Drive, make something like this. I'm going to use Google Drive because I want to let the spreadsheet do the math for me. And I'm just going to call this wheat fields. And these wheat fields are in Uttar Pradesh. Get that in there. There we go. Go back to my image, and it says 3,293 square meters. So I am going to enter that 3,293. I think I remembered that correctly. Having a hard time with numbers this morning. Yeah, 3,293. So that's my first one. So I'll do that. And then no easy way to do this. I'm just going to switch to area. And then I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to stay in Uttar Pradesh, but now I'm going to go over here somewhere else. I'm just going to take a sample of some more fields. So that was number one. And let's see. That kind of looks like a field there. So I'm going to use that. Same thing. I'm just going to measure the corners. Every corner I'm just clicking, and it just creates a new vertex for that. So 559.5, I'm going to call that 560. Go back to my chart and enter 560. And then I'm going to go back again. Excuse me. And I'm going to do area again, and I'm going to zoom out, and let's go somewhere else. Let's go to a totally different part of the state. It's a good thing to just jump around quite a bit because you want to get as close to a random sample as you can get of these to get a good idea. And I'm going to take this field right here. It's kind of an odd shape. Looks like the same thing is growing everywhere in that field. Yeah, make sure you click and don't hold down like I did there. Also, for something like this, if you have an external mouse, which I'm not using, it works better. 6,129. 6129. So you get the picture. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do this until we get to 10. So I've gotten 3, and so when I'm all done, I'll have a list of 10 measurements of wheat fields in India. What I can do then is I can highlight, if I'm using Google Sheets, I can highlight the whole list. Now I've only got 3 fields, so I want you to get 10 to get a good variable, good amount of numbers there. But basically, if I go down here in the corner, it tells me the average. The average of those 3 fields was 3,327. You're going to get some number different than that because you're going to pick different fields and you're going to pick 10. Whatever you come up with, I'm going to use my number for now, 3,327. And I'm going to go back to my instructions. And for Uttar Pradesh, I'm going to say 3,327. That's the average area. So whatever your number you come up with, it's going to be different than mine. And then describe the shape of the fields in this state. Well, this is where I would maybe hold off a little. I would wait to describe what they look like until you've done both the United States and India. So you're going to take a sample like that of 10 wheat fields in 4 different states in India. So that's probably going to take you a good 15, 20 minutes to complete that part of the assignment. I'm going to zoom out, but it's important to get a good large number because then you can get a real good sample. But we're also going to go to Punjab, Haryana, and Madhya Pradesh. And so those states you can find, if you just look, there's Haryana, Punjab, let's see, I'm having a hard time finding them. There's Punjab, and Madhya Pradesh is right here. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. This is really the big agricultural region of India as far as wheat goes. If we go further out here, it's more rice growing around Bangladesh, but this is what we want to focus on. So you'll take 10 readings in each place, just like I showed you. And you'll get pretty fast once you do it a few times. Then when you're done with that, you'll go to the United States. And there are 4 states in the United States that we need to sample. Those 4 states are Kansas, North Dakota, Washington, and Montana. And again, those are the big wheat producing states in the US: Kansas, North Dakota, Washington, and Montana. And so you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to zoom in on the fields in those states. Kansas, let's go out in the middle of Kansas. They grow a lot of stuff in Kansas, but there's a lot of wheat production here. As you can see here, these fields in this part, there's not as much, but you can see the shapes are a little different. Just pay attention to the differences in size and shape. The size number will appear here, and it'll be quite apparent. But as you're doing this, just make sure you're paying attention to the shape and think about, what does that mean? Why are the field sizes different in different places? Why are the shapes different? What's going on here in these 2 places? And when you're all done with that, you got 3 questions to answer. First, compare the shape of the fields in each country. How do the characteristics of the 2 places differ? What's the difference between the 2? Then speculate about the differences. What would be the multiple reasons why size and shape are so different? So again, it says multiple reasons. So many reasons. You should be able to find several different reasons for why, in your mind at least, why size and shape are so different. And the way you do that is just imagine you're on the ground there. Imagine you're the farmer. Why would your fields be bigger or smaller depending on all the different ways that we grow food? And then finally, explain what you believe this tells us about life of the average farmer in the United States versus India. So explain means write quite a bit. So you're probably looking at 15 to 20 minutes here, 15 to 20 minutes here, and then another 15 to 20 minutes here. That puts you at between 45 minutes and an hour total time working on this. Feel free to go back to the video, watch it over again. You can also, if you have technical issues, it's pretty straightforward, but if you do have technical issues, just go ahead and email me. My email's right here, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But when you're all done, you're going to open up this form on Google Forms. You're going to enter your last name. You're going to select the point value of the assignment. This one is worth 1 point. And then select the name, Comparing Agricultural Lands, from the list and hit submit. Once you do that, that signals me, Miss Ward, or Mr. Thompson that you've turned something in, and we're going to grade your assignment for you and put it in the gradebook. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Go ahead and email me if you have any technical